Peace, all those who joined. You have reached a higher discussion. And this way in this production needs an intro. Let's go. That's right. You heard the ad and the promo. Redeem Vacations. Bring 5 people to the Real HD show. Win a 3-night vacation for you and yours to a destination in the U.S. Discounts, promos, afoot. Matter of fact, you can also win hotel vouchers, restaurant vouchers, etc., etc. We got one more in the kitty before we get busy. Total package energy. Let's go. All right, you are back. You know what I mean? You can come on through, put your feet in. We're getting deep enough to swim in. But you know, before we get started, and I know people may not like this or they may like this, but you gotta hang with us. Why? Because we're getting ready to go into our elders and ancestors of blueprint. That's right. On the bottom portion of the screen, you see a great day in Harlem. The famous Gordon Brooks photograph that resonated worldwide as we do our elders and ancestors blueprint. And I think the one that we did last show was so good that I want to run it again. It's called The Good Man. And Dr. Neely Fuller is talking about the good man. But he has some very sharp, poignant things to say about our people as a community, how we are approaching one another, how we approach development, success. The Real HD Show, Elders and Ancestors Blueprint. Check it out.
Matters at all, because most people don't even have an idea that such a thing as white supremacy exists. When it controls everything, if you're black, everything that you're doing, the white supremacists control. Even when you think that you're controlling something. The average black person wakes up in the morning and say, well, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that. Well, you're going to do this and you're going to do that on whose terms? I mean, when you walk out your door and the street that you walk on, who determines what street that you are going to be on? Even when you walk out what you call your door. Because your door might not even be your door. Your door may be something that you owe somebody for. Have you thought of that? You say, this is my door. This is my house. Is it really? When you stop to think, who really owns your house? Are you beholden to anybody? I mean, is this a house that you built on the street that you built in the place that you decided it would be? Or was the place already there and somebody told you it might be a good idea for you to go over there and take a look and then move in? Move in on what? On whose terms? On your terms? Not likely. On somebody else's terms. And who is that somebody else, ultimately? Who is it? Have you ever asked? Have you ever thought about it? Do you really control your existence on this planet? The average black person, particularly black males, we got this thing about, physicality. If I take off my shirt and I got big bulging muscles, I mean, somehow that's a cure-all for everything in the world. I'm a black male, and I got strong muscles. I can lift weights, and I can run down the street faster than anybody else and get where I'm going. That somehow makes me a strong black man, and that's all I need. I got these bulging muscles. I'm fit and I'm trim. I love to take my shirt off, particularly, in the summertime and whatnot. I don't want to wear a shirt at all. I take my shirt off so people can see my strong.
Hey, man, if you're listening to this live, let us know what you think of the Elders and Ancestors Blueprint when we feature Dr. Neely Fuller, when we feature Francis Cress Wilson, when we feature other different people giving prominent wisdom on subject matters pertaining to our people and our development and our progression. Let us know on the Real HD Show in the comments what you think of this, getting back to our Ancestors and Elders Blueprint. Dr. Neely Fuller, check it out.
Strong muscles. Okay. And I can lift things. I can go here and I can go there. But have you ever stopped to think about what you can use your muscles for or against? And what's the product? Is this all that you have? Do you have anything else to show for your being on this planet up to now? Do you have a plan for the future that goes beyond just you taking up the sidewalk, making people walk around you when you come down the sidewalk because you're in the middle?
Debo.
And they have to go past you, the ladies with the baby strollers and all like that, because you are, your own man, or are you really a man? Because the people who, when Martin Luther King was assassinated, there were a lot of strong males, strong black males, but I tend to believe they were people who understood their position in the system of white supremacy. That's why they had signs. Now, these are people that lift garbage pails. You got to be strong to do that. But they had signs saying what? I am a man. People right now can go to their computers and punch up the day that Martin Luther King was assassinated, April 1968. And there in Memphis, Tennessee, Martin Luther King was there to help the garbage workers, who were all black, I understand, to get higher wages. And these garbage workers, these sanitation workers, proud people who, many of them, were, you might call it that day, pillars of the community and in the church and all like that. But they were sanitation workers. But they were also saying, yeah, even though we're sanitation workers, we should be getting a decent wage. But they didn't have signs saying we should be getting a decent wage. They had signs saying, almost in unison, there are photographs of it. That's a historical record, saying what? I am a man. M-A-N. Like Muddy Waters even had a song saying, man, man, you know.
Right.
Over and over again. And when black people, and they don't say it so much nowadays, they say dude, but black people used to use the word man all the time back in the 40s and 50s. Why?
Right.
You had to keep saying that to kind of reassure yourself that that's what you should be. You should be treated like a man. You know, I'm a man. I mean, don't be calling me no boy. I'm a man. You say boy this and boy that. I'm tired of hearing that. You know, I mean, even when black people would say it to each other, hey boy, you know, hey, well, you know, man, hey, I'm a man. I'm 3 times 7. That was a common saying. 3 times 7. That makes me 21. You know, I'm a man. And if you don't believe I'm a man, I'll prove it to you. Meaning I will do harm to you physically. That's what it meant in the old days. But see, black people had to keep saying that to each other. And finally they had to start saying it to white people, but the white supremacists said, it's only going to be one man on this planet. And you boys who want to be men, I tell you what, after Martin Luther King is dead, I'll make a deal with you.
So what's interesting about what he's talking about is our ancestors had to walk around with signs saying who they were, proclaiming who they were. And aren't we stuck in a time warp right now? Or aren't we stuck in a paradigm right now where everybody is pronoun happy? Everybody has to pronounce and present their pronoun when it might not necessarily actually be who they are, or it may not even speak to their character as a person or their integrity as a person. But this is the time in which we live. And then, of course, we see the context documented and espoused by Brother Neely Fuller when he talked about in the civil rights, brothers wanted to be looked at as men. So did we ask for the right things during the civil rights movement? We asked to be a man, or did we really need what a man was required to have in order to take care of a family and be prosperous within their community, their nation, and their race? And if we weren't able to ask succinctly for what we needed to make us bigger and broader men, who was in charge of what was being asked for? And why wasn't there more of a consensus to be more specific as to our ask? All right, I'll play the rest of it and then we can get into it.
You'll go from boys not to men. You'll go from boys to women.
To women.
Yes. I will degenderize you and get you to love it. You will love acting like your sisters and love being that way and go around looking for another male to do things with you in the bed like you're a female. Now, some people have said they've seen some cartoons of my work.
Hey, back to the Real HD show. We appreciate you though. Get in here, man. That's the link on the bottom. And you also have the message board. So you guys can chime in. You guys can jump in. We getting deep enough to swim in. We are the Real HD show, the higher discussion. And what do we do on the Real HD show? In case this is your first time watching, we deal with those crazy, those chaotic, those crazy wacko headlines, and we solve it with Freedom Music. Freedom Music comes on 7:30 in the evening to 8 o'clock. And then you get your battery filled, you get your cup running over with all that good music that could be motivational and inspirational for you. And then we jump on with a lot of what would be information and awareness. You know what I mean? So we're not careless. Moving toward the rest of this 21st century, we got a lot to go. And we want to make sure we're getting there and we're armed with the right information. Speaking about being the higher discussion and being armed with the right information, we're going to go right into our AAT report so that we're armed and our health is armed with the right information. Relay C show. Let's go. That's right. That was the intro to our Healthy, Wealthier, and Wiser AAT report. That's our health and wealth segment, because health is the wealth, always has been. But ever since the pandemic, as it were, it's become front and center. I know a lot of people my age and younger are going down to ailments, diseases, and viruses that they can prevent. So we play and we give you guys the AAT report so that you guys can be better off in the long run, health-wise and wealth-wise. Can't get that bag if you can't get up out the bed. You know what I mean? So let me share my screen. And usually I bring you something by Maccabee, but I thought tonight was very, very important. I found this information out, so I thought I'd share it with you. Nothing uber goober, nothing tinfoil. This was on Yahoo Finance. And this was as of September 2021. So you can actually fact check this at this point. 10 drinks, 10 commercial store-based drinks that can lead to false positive COVID tests, a new study says. Now, why is this important? Why is this important? Because if you hear nowadays not so much people passing from COVID, but people coming down with it. You'll hear that. You'll hear, oh, so-and-so caught COVID. And it's almost like you didn't expect to hear that anymore. Like that was kind of yesterday's news. But people are still coming down with viruses and ailments that replicate and that in testing situations come off like COVID. So let me read the article a little bit and then we'll get into it. Byline: increasing number at-home testing kits for COVID-19 makes it convenient for tests of COVID-19, plus considerably safer than risking exposure by going for testing at a public location. Of course, now what they mean by that is you can keep the information in-house or out of house because there are ramifications for being sick with COVID. However, a group of infectious disease researchers have discovered that for someone who wants a positive COVID-19 test, i.e. get out of work, get out of school, getting it may be easy as stopping by a convenience store beverage cooler. A group of scientists studying a tropical medicine at Germany's university recently published a study in the International Journal of Infectious Diseases. They noted that the PCR COVID-19 tests, which everyone is like swearing by, are still the gold standard for accuracy. Self-testing COVID-19 antigen kits are reasonably on target and have led to efficient results in schools and workplaces, not to mention homes and other common settings. But scientists added there are simple ways a consumer can fabricate a post-19 flow test. By applying certain everyday beverages directly on to a COVID-19 cassette, testing cassette. So that's exactly what researchers did. Of the beverages they employed, they reported, we observed that all soft drinks, Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola Zero, Fanta Orange, Orange Drink, Red Bull, alcoholic beverages, vodka, whiskey, and brandy, commercial bottled water, and carbonated mineral water cause the appearance of a test line in a COVID-19 in a COVID-19 testing kit. And that red test line, of course, indicated positive infection. Wow. So in case you've listened to the show before, you've heard how there's been mRNA placed in certain cow meats, pork, right? Certain vegetables, the wrapping that is going to be placed on fruit, that little kind of biodegradable wrapping that we talked about. And now at the Institute for, what is this called? Journal. Let me get back to give you the right place. International Journal of Infectious Diseases is what it's called. They are telling you that sodas and commercial juices and waters indicate positive infection. Researchers explain that the science behind the effect by saying it could be due to an altered pH in those situations. So you're saying that altering the pH of someone's biochemistry, right, of their acidity or their base within their body, can have one testing positive for COVID-19. Let us know what you guys think about that. I see we got people on the Real HD Network. We got people on the Community Justice Initiative Network. Let me know what you think. So you go to the store, you buy your favorite Coca-Cola, Pepsi, whatever you drinking down these days. You think you have a sniffle or two. You think you might, because COVID is a respiratory situation, you think you might have COVID. You go ahead and test, pee on the stick or whatever the methodology is of testing, and you have got a false positive of the COVID virus because you drunk one of these commercial beverages. Now, what do you do after that? You have to run and get the what? Jab. You got to run and get that jab, right? And what has happened? What has set in the meantime? A lot of fear, a lot of uncertainty, certainty, a lot of craziness in your mind. For some, depression, right? For some, a sense of hopelessness because 500,000 people died all the way across the world because they were testing positive for COVID. You don't know whose advice to listen to because the government is fighting with the doctors and the doctors are fighting with the scientists and the scientists are fighting with the information brokers, the media. You don't know where to go and who to listen to for this stuff. You don't know which way is proverbially up, which way is up, right? Interesting stuff. And if you have seen the Real HD show before, then you've also seen how we've introduced stories to you about how they've put COVID or mRNA into the food supply because they want people to be, or the vaccine driven antigen, as it will, into the COVID, into the food supply in various measures. So let us know, man. Let us know in the comment what you think. Put it in the comments. Have you ever drunk in any of the Coca-Cola line, waters or beverages? And is Coca-Cola down with because my listeners are smart, is Coca-Cola down with the World Economic Forum and what they want for a possible future? They want everybody to step and fetch. They want everybody in line with this world order. And they want it happening ASAP. What do you think? Leave it in the chat. Is this a way to get the dumb who are mostly intrigued by the drum to drink down some so that they have to introduce the jab into your life because you got a false positive reading for COVID. We gotta be aware. We gotta take care of ourselves. This has been the AAT report, Aero Aqua Terra. Anything on the land, sea, and air, we will cover as remedy for what our people need in the 21st century. That's what we do right here on the Real HD Show. If you like this particular segment, Healthy, Wealthy, and Wiser, our healthier report on the Real HD Show. Hey, somebody gave us a thumbs up. They liked the AAT report. That's what's up. You ain't gonna really see a whole lot of shows on these or any other airwaves that are gonna give you ways for you to be healthy that's in reach, tangible, and practical. Now, we can all cut back with inflation that's sweeping the nation. We could all cut back on a $5 Pepsi, correct? Because that's what it ain't it costing somewhere in that realm right now? Where all my Pepsi and soft drinkers at? What's a Red Bull running you right now? Gotta be about $5. You know what I'm saying? If it ain't $4.15 or $3.85 by the time you split that $5, or by the time you put that on that debit card or that credit card, and you got to spend $5 to charge $3, you didn't give up a $5 spot just to get some Coca-Cola products in your life that may or may not give you a false COVID reading and cause all kind of stress, anxiety, and crazy shit to be in your life. But you heard it here first on the Real HD Show, the higher discussion. Let us know, man. Have they started tasting funny? Have those Coca-Cola products started tasting differently? Simply when they're rumored to have, you know, the mRNA inside of the product, water. And is that a roofie? That's almost like a date rape drug, in my opinion. You done put something in my drink so that I gotta go get the jabby jab now. I gotta go get mutilated. I gotta go become a, what did my man Sincere say? You become a product now, right? You become a mass commodity because you put the jab in your biome, and now another company owns the right to your genetic biome, right? If you don't look it up, check out the Supreme Court case in what they called cRNA patients. They called them the product of the company that actually created the mRNA serum. Yeah, man. So that was the AAT report, our Healthy, Wealthier, and Wiser report. Health is wealth. So is knowledge of self. So let's get it going. Tell everybody they can catch that on Yahoo Finance. 10 drinks that could lead a false positive COVID test as of a couple years ago, but it's still relevant. Super relevant information. And we here for this tonight, everybody on the show. Crazy Matches Crazy. Our current event show on a Wednesday, on a Wild Out Wednesday, as it were, on the Real HD Show. Let me take down the banner, the lower third. You can watch us on 5 Facebook platforms. You can watch us on YouTube. You can watch us on Twitch TV, Twitter, Instagram, as it is. Mob Crush, D Live, Trovo Nation. Hey, everybody in my Mob Crush and my D Live and my Trovo Nation, y'all heavy hitters, y'all young folks who are in the know, please jump on in here and give me your best on this particular matter as we progress throughout the evening. We got a lot to cover. A lot of crap is popping on the Real HD Show, man. A lot of things are popping in the micro and macro communities that we need to go over and deal with as a people. And we would appreciate those who are courageous enough, astute enough, and no holes barred enough to give it up and be a part and contribute their voice, their messaging, their comments to the Real HD show, the higher discussion. And looks like we got brother Mozzie in the building. What's going on with you, bro?
Oh man, hold on. I'm trying to get some sound. I am in the vehicle
That's
trying to
all
make
right.
this work.
Nah, do your thing, brother. Are you close to home or what's happening?
I got a couple things going on that's going to prevent me from getting in the house just real quick. But technology allows us to do things. Can you hear me?
We got you, bro. We got you loud and clear. As long as you can hear us, we are good.
Yeah, I can hear you guys. I'm trying to figure out why my earbuds ain't picking it up.
Oh, okay. Got you.
You buy this expensive stuff, man.
Got the Bluetooth.
It never work the way you want.
I know it. I bought the Ray J. I bought my sister bought me the Ray J earphones, the Bluetooth, and they're good when they work, but when they don't work, it's one ear's on, the other ain't. It's that back and forth thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So we just did our AAT report, Healthy, Wealthier, and Wiser, and we talked about 10 soft drinks. There was a report about 10 soft drinks that can lead to a false positive COVID reading on the antigen test that they give you when you feel like you've been exposed, or you feel like you're getting sick. Are you familiar with that, bro? Have you come across any of that information?
Yeah, a lot of these tests, man, what's happening is because
You good, brother? Continue.
Oh, you know what?
What's
Hold
up?
on. Oh man, I gotta turn the music on, bro.
That's all right, man. So what I'm gonna do, man? Give me a thumbs up when you're ready to roll. I'll put you on mute for now so you can get it all together. Give me a thumbs up when you're ready to roll, and I'll bring you back on.
Sounds good. Thanks.
Okay. So while brother Mozzie is getting his thing together, we're gonna do our thing right here on the Real HD show. So what do we do? What do we do? Power to the people news. Wait, what just happened? This just happened. Viral images show people of color as anti-Asian perpetrators. That misses the big picture. A new analysis reveals misconceptions that perpetrators, victims, and the general environment around anti-Asian hate incidents, these can have long-term consequences for racial solidarity, researcher Janelle Wong says. So basically what this article is about debunking all of the Black on Asian crime that happened somewhat would be now about a year and a half, 2 years ago, that led to the big Asian anti-hate crime bill. And I don't know if anybody remembers. You good to go, bro? Good to go? Okay. Well, I don't know if anybody, Brother Mozzie, let me know if you're good to go. Give me the thumbs up if you are ready to rejoin the show. I don't know if anybody remembers, but they were showing pictures of Black people mugging Asian people, mugging old ladies, old men, going through the streets of New York and all over the country, California, beating down old Asian people, stealing their money, stealing their products and their belongings, without any context. And then the suspects started to all look similar. They would have on the same type of like garb or dress. They would have on the same type of it would be in the same type of scenarios. Nothing different that would kind of lend itself to being an authentic crime on someone that was random. It was all kind of looking very familiar. And those of us who are in the know started doing some head scratching, some SMH, shaking my head. Like, what's really popping? Is this a real thing? Or is this all being set up? Then, of course, there was some rumorings and some rumblings that in Philadelphia and in Chicago, people were being released from jail and being put up to do these types of things in different ways. And then, of course, in New York, all of the suspects that was involved in these anti-Asian hate crimes, as it were, before the bill was passed, were all dressed the same and usual suspects. Kaiser Sose, right? Right? Usual suspects. Okay, so my man is good, so I'm gonna put him back on. All right, so yeah, bro. So we're talking about this the anti-Asian and how the anti-Asian crime bill. There was a researcher who was Asian herself, along with the what is the outlet that released this? MSNBC News that gave a report that talks about black folks being blamed for anti-Asian hate crimes. You know, yeah, man. Those people were not, in fact, melanated people or black people in the United States, as it were. Those things were being. So what does that mean? That means we were being led on. That means we were the usual suspects, you know, birth of a nation, stereotypical suspects that usually catch the blunt of blame for any of the criminality class of activity that happens in the country. And what did they get out of it? They got them a nice anti-Asian hate crime bill, right? And of course, when you have those bills and they pass in Congress, whether they be through ratification or they be through emergency session, those bills usually pass and they're layered with different incentives for the groups that they were meant to support. So of course, you know, the Asian population got a lot of, they got a lot of treats out of that one bill, right? Not only did they get an anti-hate crime bill, but they got all kinds of money in federal dollars that went towards supporting their community and supporting their community ventures. So, and then of course, if you've watched our show or you pay attention to the news, you started hearing off of the anti-Asian hate crime bill that they started protesting during the Supreme Court rumblings about eliminating affirmative action, right? Because they didn't benefit from affirmative action, meaning Asians. Asians don't benefit from affirmative action. And then they also started, and that gave them a great lobbying floor, if you will, and the ear of the nation, so that whatever they wanted to proselytize or get across to the macro community in the country, they had a bully pulpit to do so. But what was even more interesting about this article, and I'm not going to read the article because we got more to cover, is that white WS folks, mayonnaise colored folks, as it turns out, are the dominant population in the country for now. And as a result, they were statistically shown to be the greater perpetrators of anti-Asian crimes across the country. So what do you think, bro? Are you familiar with this MSNBC anti-Asian hate crime expose? This is the time for whistleblowers. So this Janet Wong sister is coming out and letting it all hang out with this expose. What do you think?
Well, this is all technology, and this all has to do with, what do you do with the people you don't really have? You're fast becoming having no use for them anymore. And there's no data that shows that black people actually commit any crimes against anybody except for those who are in close proximity. And in general, crimes are always crimes of convenience, which means if we all live in the same neighborhoods, those are the people we commit the crimes with. So there's no documented history. But the problem is, man, what it is doing is showing us systematically how we are just being just dismissed, man. And here's what happens: it's the cooking the live frog. If you can't just go out there and start wholesaling killing black folks in America. So the way you do it is you now start turning everybody that you can find against them. And then now we got an Asian hate bill. And the reason why we have a Asian hate bill is because the black people are committing all these crimes against them. Like, come on, man. Let's be real. But okay, so what? If that's what they say is happening, that's what's happening. But here's the other thing. They're using the Asian population just like they're using the alphabet community to scrape away at whatever gains we made as a people. Asians did benefit from affirmative action, one. Two, Koreans in particular did not benefit because they were considered honorary whites. So they were given special status that other Asians didn't get. So when we look at this stuff, man, we have to really understand what's going on. And Asians historically, especially if you're looking in the tri-state area, have never really engaged in the political process. They were busy building their economic empire. So when they built their economic empire, anything and everything that they ever wanted, they can get now. And they built things in our community. They built things in white communities, and they've donated money. They've given money based upon them controlling certain industries. And so what you're getting now is payback. I want this. Okay, you can have it. I want this. You can have it. Since you always giving us money, okay, we'll roll with it. And that's what you got going on, man. But we still have to ask the question, what do you do with the people you don't want? And what you see is what you do. We have crime bills that said that they're committing all these crimes because, you know, the narrative is that we're just some criminal people. So we're always committing crimes. So it only makes sense that you create hate bills that says you guys are hating, you guys are committing crimes against them, so we have to do something about that. That's only natural. But we can't fall prey to the craziness, man. That's why it's so important for us to get our act together. Every group on this planet, well, I won't say every group on this planet, every group in America take care of their own. We just don't do that. You know, when white people live amongst white people, what they say, you know, it's natural. Asian people live amongst Asians, they say what? You know, it's cultural. They're Asian people. You know, when you know, black people want to live amongst black people, they say what? That's segregation. Black people could. Black people don't want to live amongst themselves. And then we have a lot of people who buy into that.
Right.
So we better get it together, man.
No, you're right. And I'm glad you made the distinction between certain more predominant Asian groups like Chinese and Japanese, and how other groups don't receive the same benefits as the Chinese and the Japanese on American in American policy. And those things need to be cleaned up in-house before they blame other folks for their own misery. And also because of the anti-Asian hate bill, that gives them the bully pulpit to flex political muscle in the country on a stage that I would almost say that they really haven't earned so far, because they, like you said, they really haven't been a part of the democratic policy process that America has undergone. And then, of course, black people have, and if it wasn't for all of the remedy type of policies and programs that we fought for over the last 50 years, Asian people in their presence would be a significant downgrade everybody kind of eats off the plate of civil rights, and everybody kind of eats off the plate of progressive, progressive policy in the United States that Black people's ancestors have fought for.
Once again, man, we set the stage for many things.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And that's the part that's so funny, because you say Asian. They're very distinctive.
Yes.
And anybody knows, especially maybe, because a lot of people don't, depending on where you live, but if you've lived in the tri-state area, there's a distinction between Asian. And the reality is Japanese and Koreans don't get along. Period.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So why should we put something in the kitty for you when we're trying to get this bill done? Why should we?
Exactly. And historically in America, Vietnamese South Asians live in the hood with us. And we tend to have a relationship with them that we don't have with their lighter counterparts from the north, the Japanese and the Koreans.
Yeah, man. And a lot of people don't take that into consideration. They just kind of throw us all in the BIPOC pool and think that suffices. And then nothing would be further from the truth. But hey, bro, we got a teaser, man, because we got an update on some things. Let me put my teaser moment. And that
before you go to your teaser moment, if you look at how they do the whole affirmative action thing now, they say minorities or disadvantaged Asians.
I have heard that. So the
distinction. So they draw the distinction.
Yeah. Let us know if you've heard that too, and let us know how that makes you feel. Should Black people in their designations be put front and center, or are we still one big monolith, as they would like to call us? Those who are from the Caribbean, would you like there to be a distinction there? Those who are from, how about just folks who are from different states within the United States? The DMV people different from the New York City people, different from the upstate New York people, different from the South Carolina people that put Biden in the office, different from the Floridians that gotta wait 36 hours to vote. Would you like those distinctions? You know what I'm saying? And would that make you feel more a part of the democratic process or not? Let us know in the chat how you feel about it. We'll put the comments on screen and we will keep going. But let me get to this teaser real quick, because it's going to get to something that we talked about last show, and it is about Project Bluebeam. So Brother Mozzie got to stop me from wearing my tinfoil hat all the time, and he hit me up last show and said, "Brother, you got some. What is that sticker on the bottom of your hat, man? You got some tinfoil going on there, bro. I don't know what you talking about." Well, Brother Vic always come back with receipts. Here's the teaser for it. Real HD Show. Check it out.
All right, so look, this is pretty alarming. We've talked about this before. NASA is working right now to prevent an internet apocalypse.
Say it ain't so, Brandon.
I would like to say it isn't, but NASA is saying that this is a possibility. They actually launched a probe 5 years ago, which went close to the surface of the sun, and they're just now getting back some data. They're concerned that a solar storm could cause a worldwide internet blackout for months, even years.
What?
So those storms can wreak havoc on satellites and electrical grids. The hope is that the data from the solar probe mission will help them predict solar storms in the future and prevent any internet interruption. Now, a lot of people, you can't leave the house or stay in your house or do anything without the internet, because it's on your phone, it's on your TV, your tablets.
This is awful.
This is worse than Y2K.
Why? Okay. So where are we now? I mean, I know you don't have all the answers, and I'm so sorry to put. I mean, I am actually panicking just a little bit.
Right.
They are hopeful that they can stop this.
Yes.
But this is a real possibility.
Yeah.
That we won't have internet for months or years.
So I'll say this much.
Oh, we do.
Maybe not go down rabbit holes as much and interact with our fellow neighbors and people like we used to back before the internet was really popular.
Oh, don't tell me.
All right, so there we are. So what did we talk about last show, bro? We talked about Project Bluebeam. Here we go. WWEF Insider reveals there will be a cyber attack that will lead to some sort of spatial or I guess astro calamity that leads to a shutdown of the global internet system.
Now, we're going to get very Orwellian right now. And we're going to act like we're going to do a movie. And we're writing a script for a movie.
Yeah.
I know there's some people that we just want to get rid of. How do you do that? Well, I tell you what, if there's no internet and I go over there and we drop a bomb, or I go over there with some weapons and we gun them all down, or we poison their food, most people, especially the young crew, the 30 and under crew, I don't know how they're going to function. They don't read. They depend so much on their electronic devices that they would just literally walk around like zombies. Of course, people in our age group are a little bit more, industrious. So we'll survive. But I can't get where if I start to if the cars still work and we can drive, I can get down, say, to New York City and let some people know what's going on. But if I can't drive because of all the electronics in the car and they're computer driven and I can't start the car up no more, I'm just going to have to, horse and buggy, maybe take a train or something that I may not get down there. And if we take, how long it used to take to get down on a horse and buggy back in the day, couple of weeks.
Right.
By the time we get down there, they don't wipe them all out. That's just the script we're writing right now for the movie, people. It ain't legit. Even though it's based upon what we see and what's being talked about in the media. So this stuff, and people better wake up and understand what's going on, because there's some stuff that, it don't make, when you start putting it together, it causes for concern. Because if there is no internet service, now we don't have real-time information like we do right now. So if something's happening to a group of people that you don't want or need anymore, when will people find out? Not instantaneously. I think Paul Revere dudes out there riding again.
Yeah, man. Is it gonna be an EMP that does it? So they faking that it's gonna be an astro event that allows it to happen, but are they just gonna simultaneously detonate EMPs all over the country, all over the world, as it were?
Mm-hmm.
They're getting us ready with these Canada fires, because I know I got up this morning and my dog was like, I won't go out there. It smells funny.
Right. And so the question is, when did burning wood become so toxic?
Facts.
And then for people who are so concerned, these are people who smoke weed that's not in its usual state of when we was growing up, when it was just marijuana.
Right.
They got all different kinds of strains and strands. They vape. You name all the craziness that they do. You're saying to yourself, wait a minute. And you worried about some wood that's burning over in Canada, which we should be, because once again, all these fires took place simultaneously and been going on for weeks. And for the past couple of weeks, we ain't had no smoke coming across. So the question is, how is it still burning? And we had a couple of weeks of clean air. I don't know, but that's just that, what's writing that script again. But the point is, when did burning wood become so toxic? And so the question is, when did burning wood become so toxic? And so the question is, when did burning wood become so toxic? And so the question is, when did burning wood become so toxic? And so the question is, when did burning wood become so toxic? And so the question is, when did burning wood become so toxic? And so the question is, when did burning wood become so toxic? And so the question is, when did burning wood become so toxic? And so the question is, when did burning wood become so toxic? And so the question is, when did burning wood become so toxic? And so the question is, when did burning wood become so toxic? And so the question is, when did burning wood become so toxic? And so the question is, when did burning wood become so toxic? And so the question is, when did burning wood become so toxic? And so the question is, when did burning wood become so toxic? And so the question is, when did burning wood become so toxic? And so the question is, when did burning wood become so toxic? And so the question is, when did burning wood But you know, World Economic Forum has been telling us, hey, you know, I think there's going to be a cyber event, guys.
Yeah,
And
they
think of how many, and
they
think how
right.
many things are connected.
Yeah, man, they writing the script for it, bro. Like you said, and you know, picture perfect, painting a perfect picture, getting people to spread the word, and of course, you see who in that particular clip who was led to spread the word, the communication and the culture bearers of the planet.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Even white people want to get down with the culture that we're spreading, whether it be wholesome or dangerous. They want
Distracted
to,
people.
so they get the communication bearers involved, the culture bearers involved, and now you got all of these. Of course, now you got the UFO conference that happened last week with Dr. Greer. You got the whistleblower from the military. I forget that guy's name, military officer that blew the whistle on a bunch of alien stuff and what supposedly the government is going to do with all this alien tech. And then, of course, when you all think it's tinfoil, rumor, and pomp and circumstance, here we go. We got Project Blue beamed on your morning news on CBS being affirmed.
And we learned in science. I don't know about the science they teach today, but the science that I grew up on, we've known about solar flares forever. Solar flares ain't nothing new.
Yes, sir.
That happens every day, all the time, 24 hours a day with the sun.
There you go. There you
That
go.
technology again.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Well, it's got to be almost 9 of the hour. Yep, we got a couple minutes before 9. And if you were on the last show, then you seen this here. Hoochie Khan.
Oh,
Okay? We seen Hoochie Khan. So this is a teaser to another event that has been happening that we need to talk about as a melanated family that has roots across the globe. So we talking about our diaspora family and our melanated family right here in the States. And that is this right here. Twerking for the ancestors.
oh Lord.
Twerking for the ancestors. Now, context is king. Okay. So I'm gonna give you a little context. These are American black women that went to the Elmira Castle in Ghana. What is interesting about the Elmira Castle in Ghana is that that was one of many ports for slaves during the transatlantic slave trade to be gathered, to be conditioned, and to be chained, and they to be put on boats to be transported around the world for labor of Europeans. And what did these sisters do? Rather than go there and try to be a part of a transcontinental legislature that would bridge black people in America or bridge black people in Ghana, no, they didn't do that. Did they try to use that education that sisters claim is so vaulted and they're the most educated? Did they use that in that particular instance? No, they didn't. They decided to get on the roof of the Elmira Castle and twerk for the ancestors. Now, we're going to need your help with this one, ladies. We're going to need your help with this one, millennials and zennials that seem to love to shake that thing. We got to know, man, do y'all have a barometer? Do y'all have an internal compass? What's really going on with y'all, man? Why would you guys go on the roof of Elmira Castle and twerk? Is that the greatest show of international ingenuity that you could come up with? What's your thoughts on this, bro? So when you see this byline, twerk for the ancestors. And I'm not gonna show the video because that's exactly what they were doing. It only lasts a couple seconds. But it's all of them saying, we gonna twerk for the ancestors, twerk for the ancestors, twerk for the ancestors.
Bruh, as you know, and I want everybody in the audience to Google useless eaters and redundant population
Mouth
and cognitive dissonance.
mouth breathers, right?
There you go.
Useless mouth breathers. Okay. Talk to
Yeah,
it.
man. That's what it's all about, man. The fact that, we talk about black girl magic, we talk about intersectionality, we talk about it's a woman's world now, brothers ain't got it together, black feminism, 50 years, all this different stuff, man. And this is the best we can do as a people. Once again, give me a reason why, if I was writing a script to a movie, what value would you have of being in that movie?
So these are just in other words, let me rephrase it. Are these people extras in a greater movie?
They're people who about to be, what they say, black folks always die up first in the movie?
Yeah. So are these the movie extras that die in the big ass explosion that nobody can figure out?
The big explosion in the beginning of the movie.
Right. Right. The big explosion in the beginning of the movie. So here's my thing, man. This is Elmira Castle. This is diaspora energy for what it's worth. I'm not sure what this amounts to in that regard, but it's there. What energy are they putting out in that particular moment that the younger generations, because these are obviously grown women here, you could tell by their shape and figures, these are not young women, these are not teens, fully capable of making thoughtful decisions for themselves, or are they? Are today's grown adults not capable of making thoughtful, conscious decisions for themselves? Are the court systems right? Are we infants in the world court? And do we prove them right when we do stuff like this? Your thoughts, bro?
I say that if this is the best we got to offer for what was taking place and just how we represent ourselves, we in trouble.
Oh no!
But see, but here's what happens too that we don't think about. Think about this. Show me a show that has black women on there and which they ain't cutting up.
Right.
They fighting, pulling each other hair, sleeping with each other, man, and the list goes on. There are none. So what we get is the same old nonsense. So all that is an extension of the reality shows that we find that come on today, that everybody aspires to watch and listen to and subscribe to. And we're told that's the best we can do and that's all we can offer. Thank you.
Yeah, man. So this reminds me of the movie starring Amuti Baruta called Sankofa.
Oh yeah.
And in the opening scenes of Sankofa, before they this transition to a past time and it all plays out that way, you see a sister on the beach near a famous slave castle, and she's being prostituted for her feminine wiles, the same way these women think here that their feminine wiles are the power versus what we do as folk, as a people. So if you guys haven't seen it, check out the movie Sankofa and look at that scene in the beginning of it and tell me if it's not eerily reminiscent of what you're looking at right now. Of course, this is even more ridiculous than that one, but it's on the same wavelength. It's got the same energy resonating from it. And then you even kind of have to think and notice whether or not these sisters have ever picked up a book that would even educate them about our history or our past so that they would go to a place like this and commit such an act. Let us.
The question I have too is,
Go ahead.
are they going to Africa now? And this is what's that sex thing they do in the Caribbean all the time, man? Hedonism. Is this hedonism Africa? Maybe that's why they're working.
It is. This is in Ghana. So you know Ghana is down with the bull crap, just like Sierra Leone and what's the other country that's within Sierra Leone? The Gambia. You know, they got the sex tourism going on there, you know?
Well, those white men from Northern Europe going over there to get them some black thang.
And the white women too.
Yeah.
The white women got the young men waiting by the airport for them.
That's what I meant. I'm sorry. That's what I meant to say. I meant to say something different, but yeah. And they out there talking about, and no shame in the game. These people are coming from Sweden, you know, some of these Nordic countries. But remember, in these Nordic countries, I forget which one it is, but it is now no longer a crime to have sex with your pet.
Ooh, you brought up.
This is once again, this ain't me making this stuff up, man. Read, people. It's fundamental. Get back to what we used to do. My grandpa and grandpa they didn't get all this wisdom because it just came to them. They read, and for those who couldn't read, they were listening to shortwave radio, and they would listen to the radio shows that are out there that were disseminating the information like we do here on the Real HD.
Right. So let's get to a higher discussion about this, man. So we got this twerking thing going on, and they've been twerking for a number of years now. And I don't know who has. I don't, correct me if I'm wrong. Have you ever read anything that really delves deep into the psychological background of this twerking situation and what could be the possible reasoning why so many people twerk so inappropriately in the most inappropriate moments or the most inappropriate platforms and stages? What's your think? What's your thought, man? What do you think drives this sort of performative sexuality?
I think some of it has to do with it gives them a sense of being seen, because as a people, when you culturally don't know who you are, you never feel good about yourself. And as a people, in so many ways, a lot of our sisters feel like they're just unseen. You know, all the brothers who they feel are learned brothers and brothers with means and things of that nature, they all want the light-skinned women. You know, so a lot of our sisters now use this as a way to garner attention. You know, as Amos Wilson once said, we love folk. You know, we want everybody to love us. And this allows us to garner that love that a lot of us or a lot of them may not be getting. That's part of my assessment of why this is so prevalent.
Yeah, man, I agree. I think that I didn't put that as, but the attention is always on deck. You know that. That's probably why they put it on social media and all that other stuff. They want the attention. They want the adulation. They want the likes. They want the instant gratification. Oh, girls, y'all crazy. And somebody at home, we twerking for the ancestors here too, girl. And it becomes a thing. But this is very low vibrational, in my opinion. Let us know.
The music is low vibrational.
Right. So let us know in the chat, man. Is this low vibrational behavior from low vibrational music? So when you're talking about low vibrational, you're talking about primal. You're talking about almost like animal like.
Thank you.
Right. And when you're an animal and you cock and bend over, what are you doing? You're basically peeing on something, right?
That's about it.
You're basically
Or you
marking.
get,
You
or
basically,
you getting raped,
yeah, you're marking
having sex.
territory, and you're doing it disrespectfully because you know that some others are gonna come by that same area station and see your stuff there and say, "Oh wow, so and so has been here." So is this a low key way of them being marking their territory and being belligerent to Black society and being belligerent to Black culture and Black heritage? What's your thoughts, bro?
That's exactly what it is. For the most part, right now, as a whole, and I speak in generalities, our community, we're functioning just above being animal-like. We don't have that higher consciousness, thought process, or anything. We're emotional, which is low vibrational. We like to fight, which is low vibrational. And the sexual aspect of things that we engage in so much, every animal does that. It don't require much thought, don't require much feeling. And you do that as a way of, continuing the species. And in humans, it's a form of entertainment to a degree when you're void of other ways to cognitively enjoy yourself.
Right. This also speaks to a loud and prevalent point of there not being much male leadership in these young ladies' lives, because of course the male dynamic in these ladies' lives would of course speak to a discipline and an accountability that they'd have to answer for once they get back to the States. And I guarantee you, if these ladies were beholden to men with some culture and discipline to them, they would have thought 3 or 4 times before doing things like this. So what do you think, man? Does this speak that there's a void of male or man-based discipline in these young ladies' lives? What's your
It
thoughts?
definitely is. It definitely is. Remember, not only do we live in a society that has devalued Black males and men in general, but they now are starting to find themselves. We are finding ourselves having women who are growing up and not understanding their boundaries sexually.
Right. How about it?
And part of that higher vibration and that male vibration and energy teaches you how to put that all in perspective.
Right.
Because I know your daughter will go out there twerking. And my daughter, even though she got a Black and Latino background and got rhythm, she can't twerk. Because she knew and understood, no. That's low vibrational.
Right.
We don't, we didn't spend the time, effort, energy, and money so that you can operate on a different level for you to go down there and cheapen yourself and be on that level.
Facts. Thank you.
And so what's going to happen, which is heard on the.
All right, I missed your last comment. If you could repeat it.
You don't subscribe to certain things, and when you don't subscribe to those things, you ain't gonna have the kind of friends.
Right.
And so now she's around a bunch of girls. They're about building, about having, understanding the importance of qualitative relationships with men, and also allowing young men to be young men and to grow. And they have to allow them as young women to grow. And so when they interact, so all these things, they ain't perfect, because we deal in a world that's crazy. But because as the data shows, the men that are in these women's lives, they don't fall prey and they don't engage in the kind of stuff that we see these people engaging in right now.
Yeah, man. Also, they sully their image. So these are young women, and they sully their own image. And then, of course,
exactly,
the internet is on, and the internet is active forever and a day. and somebody could pull these receipts back up, and they may miss out on the man of their life, or the opportunity of their life, because they are going to twerk for the ancestors. So now you see it's international. We got that ratchetness international now, and it's also conferencing each other and being local, trying to support that sort of dysfunction. And you brought up something else, man. You said something about zoology, right? Didn't you mention that a little while ago?
Did I?
Yeah, you mentioned about animals in foreign countries.
No, I did not. Oh, yeah, no, I think we were talking about, I think I might have mentioned about did I mention the elephants? Because, there was a study that was done. And a matter of fact, it was in National Geographic. For those of us who used to read that back in the day, that's how we really got our insight into the world before we traveled. There was a study done where they took all the male elephants out of the community. And two things happened. The young teenage elephants, boys, became very violent. And the girl elephants, for some reason, were always in heat.
Right. So, of course, when you see this, we talk about it's low vibrational, almost animalistic like, right? So, what's interesting is, especially according to Dave Chappelle, a lot of what the LGBTQ rides on for cultural reinforcement is following the lead of our sisters. Our sisters become the archetype for what is culturally appropriate. And it is, it's that way based on how many trans people want to be women versus how many trans people want to be men. But what's interesting that I found, and I'm gonna put this up on the screen right now, hope you can see it. This is a comment on Twitter by a person named Aster Z, right? And it says at Animal Boy Sister, and it said as Pride Month is coming to a close, now is a good time to mention that zoo sexuality is inherently queer. We've been a part of the Q plus and always will be. There's nothing wrong with you, and you have every right to be proud of your zoo rights. There we go. So I guess twerking on Elmira Castle and Pootie is leading to zoo sexuality rights.
Oh, jeez. Well, I guess
let us know in the chat what you think while Brother Mozzie is getting himself situated. Let us know in the chat what you think of zoology rights. Do human beings have the right to be duking with animals? Do they have the right, or do animals have rights? Did anybody ask the llama? Did anybody ask that monkey or that snake or whatever they're using now if they want to be sexually fooled with?
Well, that goes. I'm trying to remember what country it was, but there is a country in one of the Nordic countries, where the issue of having relations with their pets and an animal is legal. Because in a lot of countries, bestiality, as it's commonly called, is a crime.
Right.
And so now you're talking about a situation where they're saying, hey, if you want to marry your dog, and go for it. Who are we to say? We should not infringe upon your rights to do whatever you humanly feel you want to do, as long as you're not hurting anybody else or I don't know what the real reason for it is, but that's kind of what they, where things are with this kind of stuff, man.
So
But
according to notes from Poland, Spain is legalizing bestiality.
mm,
Claims Polish Justice Minister. Spain is legalizing bestiality, claims Polish Justice Minister, in warning over leftist virus. Poland's Justice Minister has claimed that the domestic opposition party wants to ban meat and that Spain, ruled a left-wing government, is legalizing bestiality. So it wasn't even a small. I thought you were going to talk about like a Scandinavian country or the
it is.
Netherlands.
There's also a Scandinavian country that's done this a few years back.
There you go. There you go.
So, but yet we're the ones who, AIDS comes from monkeys, and the green monkey disease, and come on, people.
Right.
We're the ones sleeping with animals and catching diseases, but ain't nowhere where you can find where it's documented that we mess around with animals. But yet they have laws on the books, and you ain't putting a law on the books unless this is something that's happening on a regular basis.
Yes,
And
sir.
yet nothing happens with them, which taking us back. I'm going to step off the sidewalk for a minute. That takes us back to the whole thing about the men on the down low. How, all these brothers are down low. That's why so many women who were in heterosexual relationships that did not fit the criteria for someone who is supposed to be HIV positive, HIV/AIDS positive. How is it that cross reacting and testing for this? So they came up with this theory on, men on the down low. But let's be real. And so these black women are sleeping with men who are black men who are gay. Once again, constant attack on black men. But what about Greece? What's the history? What is the culture? What is the current culture of Greece? Bathhouses are still very big and very important in Greece.
Yes, sir. Greece and Rome. Yep.
And if there was a society that exists today that we know about, this is not Mozzie making this stuff up. This is well documented. We just got to do it. We just got to look it up. Is Greece. Greece still engages in bathhouses and men sleeping with each other. And it is very normative for men to engage in each other and go home to their wives.
Right.
But you know what? But it didn't run rampant in their community. Somehow we got brothers over here on the down low, and it's running rampant in our community.
Right.
So we got to be careful with this stuff, man.
We do.
This low vibe, and the thing is with the low vibration, we're buying into it because they're saying that we sleep with animals. So what do? We go everywhere we go. We gotta be sexual.
That's the calling card, right?
There you go. We can't go in there, walk in the room. Back in the day, think about this. When they talk about, was it hidden secrets or whatever, the one where the sisters were working on the math behind the rocket launches and stuff like that.
Or hidden colors.
Hidden colors. When a sister used to walk in a room back then that you knew had a PhD in mathematics, she walk in the room and it's almost like you can just feel the energy, and there was that higher vibrational energy to where whatever nonsense she was engaging in, you just stopped and you stared and you listened.
Yeah.
Sisters walk in the room now, and you don't get that.
Right. No, absolutely. Yeah, man. But what a lot of sisters want is credit for being, the mother goddess. They want the mother goddess designation without the work that it takes to get that designation.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. So we got one more story we want to tackle and one more story we want to get into before the show closes out. So I'll give you the choice, brother. We going red pill or blue pill here, man. Are we going to continue down the rabbit hole of this LGBT stuff? Because there are some other things to factor in, some explosive things. Or are we going to go to an Obama story? What's your thoughts?
Let's go to Obama story, but let's throw a teaser out there for another show. There's
Okay.
a big riff. There's a big riff in the alphabet now.
Yes, there is.
It used to be, just LGB. Then they added on the TQ and AB and XY and all that. And now the LGB is saying, whoa, yeah, this other stuff has just gone way too much out of control. So what would be nice is if everybody who's listening was to do their homework, and then let's have a discussion on what's going on and why the schism in the LGBTQ community, where it stops at LGB, and the LGBs are fussing with all the Qs and everybody else.
Yeah, man, they don't want to be associated, especially the G's. The G's and the L's want to be associated with the T's who are running around jacking everybody up, and especially as they're approaching pedo levels, where they doing the trans storybook hours and dancing in front of the kids and gyrating in front
of man,
being real performative in front of the young people. The L's and the G's are like, nah, we ain't.
We ain't talking about all that.
Yeah, like
we just wanted to be able. I like Susie next door. Susie and I are two consenting adults, and we want to engage each other. That's all we ever wanted.
But y'all talking about messing with babies now. We're going to have to break off, man. We're going to have to do our own thing. We're going to have to fight a little bit of a civil war of sorts and disassociate with y'all because they doing that. But here's the teaser for Monday so we can go down that rabbit hole, and this is it right here. Blackface and trans community. Was the blackface of the 20th century a conduit for the transformative population in the 21st century? Yeah, we got that and more on the Monday show of the Real HD show. But let's get to Barry right now, because Barry is in the news, not for good stuff. Tell me you heard about what's going on with your boy.
Are you talking about the children, man?
No, tell me about what's going on
with
Barry, man. Barry looking suspect right now, man. I don't know. He's singing. He good at singing Al Green and playing some hoop and hitting a joint or two. Well, what do you say to this here? Is Obama homosexual? Larry Sinclair offer of cocaine, drugs, sex.
Know all about this story.
Larry claims to have drugs and had sex with Obama when he was a senator in 1999. He wrote a book about 2 encounters. He was sued for defamation, but the judge tossed the case, which means the judge did not think Sinclair was lying. What's your thought, man? Obeezy Barry is looking like he got some sugar in his shoes. What you think, bro?
I would say if you really want to listen to a great expose on that, the brother from Positive Comedic Visions out of Baltimore, the Irritated Genie, did an excellent expose on that. It went to a real deep dive on the feminization of the black male, and it talked about that particular story right there and other information. So I would say it's very interesting. That old saying, never say never. And it was very compelling.
Right.
And then when you hear that story, then you then start to listen to and look at all the other stuff that went on. Like, as soon as he got in the office, he just gravitated to the trans community. And a lot of what he did was to bring about trans rights, which then begs the question about, when a lot of these right wingers were talking about his wife being trans.
Ooh, see, I didn't hear that. I didn't hear that.
Oh, man.
Say more.
Oh,
Say more.
bruh.
Say more. I didn't know about that.
Yeah, man, listen.
So, Michelle, my bell. Say it ain't so.
You listen to Alex Jones, Cadre, and all of them, man.
Oh, okay.
They worked very hard to prove and show that Michelle was Michael.
Ooh.
Now, I'm not going to go that far, and I'm not going to say anything to that because it's really what they were doing was giving you conjecture. Talking about look at her skirt, and her skirt's bent a certain way, and so look at the bulge. And I'm like, come on, man, come on, you got to come. If you're gonna put it out there like that,
right?
Let it make sense. Don't just put it out there and it don't make no sense. That's the first thing. The second thing is there's a lot of pictures of Michelle through various stages of her life. You know what I mean? So if there was no pictures around and things around to show her when she was younger, all that different kind of stuff, then I say, all right, dudes, whatever. But the piece about the drugs and Obama with the homosexual piece, and the kid was saying that he gave Obama a blowjob in the back of the car because there's an audio from that also.
Right.
And he said how he gave Obama a blowjob and they should do cocaine together. Listen, I need more. I'll be honest with you. I need more data around that. The brothers from Positive Comedic did their expose, which was very convincing, but it was the data to me for me to really believe into that. A lot of that data was missing to make it. You know how in science, you reach a certain point with the data that you have that you can draw that conclusion. There wasn't enough data to draw that conclusion, is what I'm saying. But look who've made all the gains since he's come in office.
Hello, he was the conduit for the marriage equality.
The transformation of America.
Yeah, he was the linchpin for the Marriage Equality Act and other things. This is supposedly, I don't know if you can see this on the screen, but this is supposed to be the Sinclair dude when they were young. And, their kind of involvement together. This is right off Twitter. So take it with a grain of salt. I'm not saying this is yay or nay. I'm saying it's interesting. And then, of course, he's at Harvard, as it were. He's in president of Harvard Law Review, which is a pretty vaulted position on campus.
Oh, I never knew about this one.
You can't get that
cocaine, sex, lies, and murders.
Yeah, that's the name of the book. And I was trying to get an idea or get a picture of all of these different folks that they got associated with him, and the alleged booty calls, fruity calls, I guess you should call it. The alleged fruity calls. So
right.
Now you brought up a great point. Now this is on the other extreme of it, which is they love to murder the image of melanated men in leadership, especially one who carried himself with the air and the distinction that Barack Obama did.
And no matter what they tried to do, because he used to walk with his head held high and he had that Obama stroll, they could never bring him down, man.
Exactly.
So the way and how do they bring us down? It's always something sexual. Because remember, they have a psychosocial maladaptation. And so they always project sexuality into everything that they do. And everything they get involved in is always a psychosexual piece involved.
And is this
That's
the
not
way?
normal.
And is this the way to sully the legacy of what he left behind in his administration?
Exactly.
You know, hey, you ain't no better than Clinton. Clinton got his little dust off in the White House, and you did your thing
Mm-hmm.
as well. You ain't no better. I'm not quite sure. This is up for debate. I want us to have a healthy conversation about this, not one that is sensational. Vice has a article out, and this from another gentleman. It says Vice.com. This man has proof that Obama is gay. Apparently, the whole presidency is one big gay commie conspiracy. Now, when I hear elements like that in one sentence, it gives me pause because that's the stuff that Fox News and cronies like that they love to
Yeah.
those terms.
Sound like Sean Hannity and those
Yeah,
guys.
that speakeasy is a little last century. Sounds like some old white man cooked it up to make it sound good. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You know, listen, man, Obama left a lot to be desired in his presidency and what he did and didn't do for black and melanated people. Now, we can have that conversation. But the conversation about cocaine and he was some sort of rampant drug dealer and he was homosexual at the same time and he was doing all this stuff off the flip of a whim and ba 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 da da da, that seems a little suspect to me, bro. I don't know. Like, remember, Michelle was a budding law student at the time.
Also, remember,
And
Michelle worked in the health field,
right,
and she was very much she was the breadwinner. You know what I
right,
mean? She was an executive in the health field for a hospital.
right. So, with all of that being said, would she risk her reputation dealing with a brother that had that much baggage on him? Harvard Law Review or not?
Right.
She doesn't. Sisters are very protective of that, of their education and their availability to move up in the social order due to their education. And I just don't see, with how outspoken she is, that she would have been going for something like this, especially with his meteoric rise to the nomination of the presidency. That was abnormal. No one really does that. He was kind of an outlier in that regard of getting his positionality so fast.
Right.
Do you think she would have risked that the way you know sisters? That's a sister from Chicago. Do you think she would have risked her stature at the time to deal with a dude that was murdering folks, drug dealing, homosexual, and all that before he even reached prominence? What's your thoughts on that?
Nah, he would not have. And here's the other part. He couldn't have been engaging in all of those and found himself in the White House because there ain't that much cover up in the world. Because we would have heard about people around Obama who's been killed and passed away, and there's some big secret that they're hiding. Or somebody somewhere would have exposed some of this information. Because it was if it's that rampant and that wide open, you can't hide it.
And that many accounts, according to the Larry Sinclair dude.
Exactly.
Multiple accounts, multiple deaths, multiple cocaine dealings, all this type of stuff. You know, that all goes back to Birth of a Nation. You want to murder the imagery, reputation, and good standing of someone who has a legacy as a melanated person in this country. I just wanted to deal with it because we didn't get a chance to really delve deep into that. That was a story that I broke about maybe 3 or 4 episodes ago, but we really didn't get to deal with it. But I'll leave it up to you guys. Here's the Obama abstract for the book. I'm not going to read it. I'll let you read it. But it's the book, what do they call it? Cocaine, Lies, and Murder. Cocaine, Sex, Lies, and Murder, Barack and Larry Sinclair. Now, Do I think that Barack and Larry Sinclair probably had something? Did they brush shoulders? Were they probably in the same company for something, some event, some sort of Harvard-based situation? I do. Do I think Obama knows the dude? I do. I do. Did the dude have a crush on Obama when Obama was the junior senator and all of that? You feel me?
Yeah.
Did dude
And
try?
different.
Did dude try to like make a move on Obeezy, and Obeezy was like, "Nah,
Nah, bro.
I'm
Now you gave
cool
me
with
some.
you,
Now,
but I can't really mess with you like that."
or did homeboy try to slip him a Mickey
Right,
and then take advantage of it?
right. And it got to a point where it was almost in that vein due to whatever the circumstances was that somebody slipped them a Mickey. Correct. Like there's all kind of like possibilities for how that. But do I think they were in each other's company at some point and involved with each other in some sort of dynamic? I do. I do. But the anecdotal stuff about him and Michelle being at a hotel, and Michelle had her little jump off, and Obeezy had his jump off in another situation, and they were cool with it. You feel me? All of that seems a little suspect to me.
Man, but you know what? And that story is too well put together for that to be what it is.
Right. Right.
Um, and what's interesting is it takes also. It's almost like they're saying, Obama was the freak president. But if I remember correctly, back in college, I went to, how you go to some of them old used bookstores and they have publications that'll blow your mind that you never thought even existed before. I know people don't do that nowadays. And back when we was young, that stuff was out there. And I remember going to this store and they had the old Playboys. And in the old Playboys, they had pictures of Marilyn Monroe with President Kennedy.
Right.
So all the presidents was getting their freak on in various ways.
Yes, sir.
And remember, Obama's not part of Skull and Bones, and every other president was part of Skull and Bones. And what did they have to do at Skull and Bones as part of their initiation?
Yeah.
It's well documented. This isn't like some secret.
Yeah,
you know
man,
what I mean?
They had to tuck it. They had to tuck them toes. They had to bend over and tuck them toes.
There you go. And then when you finish, you got to lay in the coffin naked.
Right.
Well, you're already naked anyway, so tucking them toes. But you know what I mean? So don't try to make Obama out to be the freak when we can say every president's been a freak.
Yeah, man. They got that Trump with the porn star.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and for all we know, he could have been sniffing some cocaine off a penis.
Yeah. They go all out with that stuff.
Yeah, man. So especially when you think you're rich and powerful like that.
For sure. So stay tuned, man. Monday's show, we're gonna dive well into this. And this is something that you people as a melanated community need to know. Blackface is a form of theatrical makeup used predominantly by non-black people to portray a caricature of a black person, which became popular in the 19th century. Woman face, is a form of makeup used predominantly by non-melanated women to portray a caricature of a woman who became popular in the early 21st century. Is the 20th century blackface the 21st century conduit to the LGBTQ mess that we have right now? We going all the way in next real.
I don't know if they're ready for that, man. That's before the 4th of July too.
Yeah, man,
maybe this is
going all the way in, man.
Since that's a time of freedom, maybe that episode will set them free mentally.
And what set me off with this, man, is this right here. This is a New York sign for a subway I guess posting, and it says all times 365 days, respect, maintenance, no bigotry, hatred, or prejudice allowed at the station at any time. It says respect trans people, or your pronouns will be was and were. So that's a threat. So that's a threat, bro. So that's a threat. So now it's no longer going from we need equality and equity to now we threatening your life. Now
we got to try to understand where we getting this militaristic trans from.
Right. They've been turning the corner with a lot of the stances that they've been taking socially. Like what was the weekend they said it was a weekend of retribution or a weekend of revenge or some nonsense like that. And that's the same weekend that the young trans lady shot up the school.
Mm-hmm.
That happened maybe about a month and a half ago, whatever it was.
So and they knew there'd be at least one of them who would take it serious.
Exactly. So yeah, man, we're gonna get into this on Monday. We're gonna do the knowledge and the history of it. We're gonna talk about Beefsteak Jones, who was one of the first Beefsteak Jones, better known as Mary Jones, who was one of the first black men to escape slavery, but he had to be a transsexual to do it.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it because it got history. But until then, watch the show, like, share, and subscribe. We are the Real HD Show, the higher discussion. You can listen to all the podcasts and see all the shows and all the episodes that you want, and you can pollute your mind with a lot of nonsense that you want to. But we come here for the higher discussion and the higher progression for the rest of the 21st century. Mozzie, you got anything before we get ready to get out of here?
Nah, man, I'm just gonna twerk for the knowledge tonight, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Twerk for awareness. That's what we doing. We twerking for knowledge itself on the Real HD Show.
All right, fellas.
Yes, sir.
People, enjoy.
Yes, sir. Until next time, man. Peace and walk with power. We appreciate you. Y'all love on each other and look out for each other out there. We'll see y'all on the Madness Monday. Peace.